Welcome to the You Are It podcast. My name is Alejandra Orozco. I am a social science researcher and an energy healer. You Are It has been created to support you in expanding your perception of reality. You are loved and absolutely deserving simply because you are, not because of what you have accomplished. Join me and be ready to transform your beliefs and approaches as you enter the flow of becoming one with your highest good and your highest purpose. Very dear friends, in this 11th episode of You Are It, allow me to share with you some key points about you, about life, and about the purpose of existence. These points are based on some of the 21 Shaumbra realizations by Adamos Saint Germain, a lesson from A Course in Miracles, and my own learning. Let us begin. First and foremost, we exist. We are consciousness itself in human form, and nothing can change that. Non-existence is not a possibility for you or for me. Let's explore this further. All that exists is of divine origin, and all created beings and things hold consciousness and the breath of life in one form or another. Your beliefs and perceptions of reality may suggest that you adopt positions such as thinking that you are above other beings in creation because you are human, or above other forms of life, other expressions of consciousness. You may even use the name of this podcast, You Are It, to justify some of these positionalities or beliefs. But I take this opportunity to share with you that the fact that you are it does not refer to you being on a higher level of importance in relation to other members and things in creation. For you are not made of a different substance and essence from other beings and things. You are simply and profoundly an expression of all that is. The leg is no more important than the brain, or the brain than the heart, or the heart than the lungs. Neither is a tree more important than fresh water, or a person more important than a tree. You are it because you are a part of the whole, and the whole is in you, and the whole is you. You are the ocean in a drop. There is no real separation between you and the tree outside your house, or the soil under your feet. So my invitation to you is that you let go of the need to position yourself above anyone or anything. Your individuality is an illusion of this dense reality, an illusion that allows you to have your own unique experience of reality. But in truth, there is no such thing as you, the individual being, even within this creation. The invitation again to you is to connect with the awareness that you are the whole through your experience of yourself as only a part of all that is. In summary, I appeal to you to reconsider the beliefs that inform your interactions with the rest of this divine creation, from the way you see trees, animals, and things, to the way you relate to other human beings. Nothing and no one is more sacred or important than anyone or anything else. As you recognize your own light, you will recognize the divine nature of all creation. Yes, Everything in creation is a representation of consciousness itself. To honor yourself is to honor the rest of creation. To belittle others is to belittle yourself. And this takes us to the second point. This world of matter that we are in is an expression of consciousness itself. Yes, consciousness precedes matter and is the key to all that exists. And everything you see is an act of consciousness, from the brightest to the darkest of actions and things and beings. Everything emanates from consciousness, from the deepest love to the greatest hatred, from silence to noise, from the fruit of an apple tree to the power of your expression. Everything we do is a role we play through our consciousness to experience different aspects of this reality. Through your free will, you choose the action you want to be in, and as your level of consciousness changes, so does your action and the way you experience this reality. Thirdly, this journey we are on is about experiencing consciousness and energy in motion through the lens of individual identities embodied in a time and space-bound reality. Before it takes material form, consciousness is pure and energy is neutral until it manifests in the physical, with the characteristics of our individual forms of perception and the journeys we wish to experience. Understanding the relationship between consciousness and energy is the purpose of living on this plane. For energy is how we communicate. It is what consciousness has created in the desire to know itself. Energy is neutral until it has a material expression, as guided by the desire of consciousness to have an experience. How energy manifests and what form it takes is always determined by how consciousness perceives itself in its individual, you or me expression. Energy is a constant communication that consciousness has about its nature and state. Energy can take all forms and expressions in accordance with the individual expressions of consciousness that each of us brings to this reality. And there is more. As quoted from 21 Shaumbra realizations, everything in your reality is your energy. All energy is yours, the song of your soul. Consciousness perceives everything only through its own energy, just as you can only see through your own physical eyes, never through someone else's. Therefore, everything in your reality is your own energy, called into its present form by your perception of your own self. Even if there is an energy design outside of you, such as the nature of other people, you will feel that design with your own energy to be able to perceive it. You don't perceive others directly as they are, but only through your own energy. Energy cannot be given or taken away. Although you can create the illusion of such an exchange, it is entirely up to you how you perceive and receive your energy. Through the individualized part of your consciousness that you are, on this material plane, you have a unique perception of reality and therefore a unique or individualized experience of reality. No two experiences of the same phenomenon are the same. We always see things and people through the filter of our perception of reality. We, as individuals, are one of an infinite number of expressions of consciousness having an experience on this material plane. As a direct expression of consciousness itself, we are whole and light upon light. But it is through the experience of individuation and darkness that we come to know, experience, and appreciate the light that we are. And another realization is that the Master allows the energy to serve him or her. When everything in your reality is your own energy, there is no need to choose, protect, or reject anything in your life. As a master, you understand that every moment of life is your creation, a gift from your free self to your human self. You can therefore fully receive your energy in absolute trust and flow, knowing that it serves you in perfection. Others cannot steal your energy, nor can you receive energy from anything outside of yourself. Instead of restricting, manipulating, or resisting the energy, a master allows it to serve him. The last realization for today is that all energy seeks resolution. Your energy is neutral until it takes on polarity to form and express a reality. Energy is meant to flow freely through experience, but often it gets stuck because of trauma, guilt, shame, and other issues. This stuck energy can then manifest in the body as pain and illness, and in life as repeating patterns, problems, and challenges. As you release the issues and allow the wisdom, your energy will return to its natural flow, bringing healing, resolution, and renewal. So, dear friends, every experience we go through is meant to communicate something to us. It may be energy rebounding from what we have done before, energy taking the form of our expectations or fears, energy coming as grace to support our expansion, etc. But it is always connected to our own energy and perception of ourselves and others. The experiences we have are colored by us based on certain frequencies that are determined by our states of being. And these frequencies can shift at any time depending on our inner processes of becoming aware of our true nature and on the steps we take to honor ourselves and life and to move towards integrity. So you may ask, how do we let the energy flow? Or more specifically, how do we flow freely through our experiences? The most powerful thing we can do is related to our ability to surrender or go into a state of non-resistance. How? Well, for example, if you are in the presence of someone who is being disruptive or offensive, can you choose to be still and use the opportunity to become aware of the belief that is making you feel offended by what they are saying? Or could you be in the heat of a summer's day and still be so relaxed that you don't even feel inclined to complain about the weather or the place you are in? Or could you, when faced with lovelessness, be so honorable and calm that you will allow the object of your love to go in peace and without feeling resentment? Let me share with you the following story. In the fall of 2022, I was the object of an armed robbery in my hometown in Colombia while I was staying with a dear cousin. At the time, I still had a gold ring from my previous marriage and somehow became the target of the thief. As the thief entered the living room where I was talking to my mother, my auntie, and my cousin, he pulled out a gun and partially closed the door behind him. The moment I saw the gun, a wave of fear hit my body at full speed. It was then that I made the decision to let my body deal with the fear while my consciousness would operate free of fear. This action was based on a belief I had developed from my deep immersion in David Hawkins' work. My belief was and is, if it is my moment, no one here can prevent it. And if it is not, no one here can force it. I moved away from the fear at the level of consciousness, but could feel the struggles of my body in my gut and solar plexus trying to process the experience before my eyes. With this decision, I surrendered to the fact that it was an armed robbery, and I moved to act without being guided by fear. The thief asked me to give him the gold ring, to which, after a moment's thought, I replied, "Well, that's from my marriage. I can't give it to you, but I can give you this other silver one," which of course made the man furious. Then he asked for my iPhone, which was on a table by my side, to which I replied, after a few seconds of thinking about the hassle of having to reinstall all my apps and contacts on a new phone, that I said that I could not give him the phone, and proceeded to put it under my leg. He came close to me and pointed the gun at me, but somehow I didn't notice or realize that he was pointing it at me. But I did notice how he came close in a threatening way, but then suddenly started to back away when I did not do the things he was asking me to do. And he started to demand that my mom take the phone away from me, and then demanded the same from my cousin. My family had somehow synchronized with my state of being and were not reacting to him. My cousin replied to him, "But what can I do? Didn't you hear she's not giving it to you?" She later joked that she was more afraid of going against my will than of dealing with the thief. The whole experience only lasted about 10 minutes or so, but so much was going on. I could sense that he was afraid. Of course, you only use what you know. If you know fear, you use fear. And I could see that he became aware that I was not offering a vibration of fear, which put him into some sort of panic control. And it was not long before he started to back away towards the door through which he came, and fled on the motorbike he had left outside. He left without the gold ring or the phone, and with little things of no value offered by my mother and my cousin, who were initially distressed when he pointed the gun at me. I know it sounds strange and hard to believe, but those of you who know me will know that this story is true. But back to this experience. I vividly remember the fear inside me, and how my body was trying to process it. But also how, after I made the conscious choice to not be guided by fear, I became unpredictable to the thief, but also somehow inaccessible to him. I know that what is of a lower frequency cannot affect that which is of a higher frequency. And a state of fear is of a very low frequency. Remember, no amount of oppression from the British Empire affected Gandhi's perception of himself as a divine being and his actions to change the destiny of an entire people. And yet, he never resorted to low vibrational actions like using violence to deal with that oppressive regime. So, what exactly happened in that armed robbery? I cannot explain. I am sharing this experience to illustrate how we make decisions all the time, as in this case, to react or to respond without fear. How would I define non-resistance from this experience I went through? Well, I became aware that the robbery was taking place, and I became aware of my extreme level of fear. Then, I made a decision to go through the experience without acting out of fear or without integrity towards the thief. Even when I heard his screams to give him the ring and the phone, I chose not to react, only to give clear answers based on what I could do for him at that moment. To be in non-resistance does not mean to just do what others ask. To me, it means to become aware, to keep acting with integrity, and to act based on what one considers is correct and not on what one fears or on what will please others. My actions had nothing to do with being attached to a ring or a phone. It was simply what I felt was the right thing to do at that moment. And after making the choices I made, reality became like this mystical window that opened in front of me to show me the learning and awareness that the experience was offering. It was mind-blowing in every way, and of course, I now know that for the first 45 years of my life, my soul conspired to allow this 3D version of Alejandra to go through the experience, to gain the understanding that nothing outside of me has power except the power I choose to give it, and that everything I go through can serve my expansion. The lesson 274 from A Course in Miracles says, "Today belong to love. Let me not fear." Dear friends, indeed, love and fear cannot coexist. We are either in love or in fear. At any given moment, we have the conscious power to choose to align ourselves with love or with fear. Every emotion and each thought we have comes either from love or fear. For most of our lives, we have been conditioned to be in fear, to fall into defensiveness, to fall into survival mode, and to entertain default thoughts that cause pain and make us feel separate from each other and from our true selves. But really, this life is our greatest opportunity to be the love that we are. Everything and every being that surrounds us is before us to be honored and recognized. From the food you eat, to the greeting of a friend, to the sunrise, it is all beauty manifesting under the veil of a thing or a being. Everything in creation is inviting you to connect with your higher level of perception and to see the kindness beyond the harshness, to see the joy beyond the sorrow, to see that you cannot die, so there is no point in fearing anything. There is so much you can change in your reality by the way you honor it. Remember, as you see things, you create them, and as you create them, you give them life. Everything and everyone in creation is doing what they can with what they understand of reality. You can be sure of that. No one is doing anything out of malice. They are simply ignoring to be a manifestation of kindness. Be the one to help them find their own light. You hold so much power in your hands. Be so present in your experience and so whole in your approach that non-resistance becomes your way of being regardless of circumstance. You cannot be light until you recognize and own your own light. Inner work is required for outer beauty to manifest. You are always making choices. So choose to not harm others or yourself, and to act with integrity. And remember that the unexpected can always become an offering of grace. Move towards seeing the divinity of all that is. Move towards shifting your frequency to one of love and gratitude. It is indeed the sweetest pleasure to take this time to converse with you. I love you all very dearly. I am Alejandra, and you have been listening to You Are It. Rumi once said, "You search the world for treasures, but the real treasure is yourself." This is the essence of our message on the You Are It podcast. You are the treasure waiting to be discovered or enjoyed. You are the flame that never consumes itself and the light that shines everywhere. Now you are home. Please know that you are most welcome. Stay tuned as we look forward to sharing something of value on every episode.